This one decision could save your future before it's too late. Right now, thousands of people are making one simple decision that's completely destroying their chances of ever living legally in their dream country. And the worst part is most of them have no idea they're doing it until it's already too late to fix. If you're planning to immigrate anywhere in the world, what I'm about to tell you could literally save your entire future. Welcome back to the channel. And if this is your first time here, subscribe right now because today I'm sharing information that immigration lawyers charge thousands of dollars to explain, and I'm giving it to you completely free. The decision I'm talking about isn't obvious. It's not something people warn you about, and it's definitely not something you'll find in the official immigration guidelines. But I've seen this mistake ruin immigration dreams for countless people, and I don't want you to be next. This applies whether you're planning to move to the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, or almost any other country with strict immigration laws. So stay with me for the next few minutes because this could change everything. The decision I'm talking about is this: never, and I mean absolutely never, overstay a visa or violate the terms of any legal status you have in a country, no matter how small the violation seems or how good your reasons might be. I know this sounds simple and obvious, but you'd be shocked at how many smart, well-educated people convince themselves that a small violation won't matter or that they can fix it later. They're wrong, and by the time they realize it, their immigration options have been permanently damaged or completely destroyed. Let me explain exactly why this matters so much and what the real consequences are, because most people don't understand the full impact until it's too late. When you overstay a visa or violate immigration rules, you're not just breaking a minor administrative rule. You're creating a permanent record in immigration databases that will follow you for the rest of your life. Every country maintains detailed records of immigration violations, and these databases are increasingly connected internationally. When you apply for a visa to any country in the future, one of the first questions on every application asks if you've ever been refused a visa, deported, or violated immigration laws in any country. If you answer no, and they discover the truth, you've now committed fraud on top of your original violation. And that's an automatic lifetime ban in most countries. If you answer yes, you have to explain the violation, and in many cases, it will result in your application being denied, regardless of how qualified you are otherwise. Let me give you some specific examples of how this plays out in real life. In the United States, if you overstay your authorized period of admission by more than 180 days, but less than 1 year, you trigger what's called the 3-year bar. This means that if you leave the United States, you cannot return for 3 years, even if you have a valid reason to come back, even if you get married to a U.S. citizen, even if you get a job offer from a top American company. If you overstay by 1 year or more, the bar increases to 10 years. And here's the part that really gets people. The bar doesn't start counting until you actually leave the country. So some people think they can just stay and fix their status from inside the United States, but unless they qualify for one of the very limited exceptions, they're stuck in an impossible situation where they can't adjust their status because they're out of status, but they also can't leave and come back because they'll trigger the bar. The United Kingdom has similar consequences, but structures them differently. If you overstay your visa in the UK by even 1 day, it creates a mark on your immigration record. If you overstay by up to 30 days, you'll face a 1-year ban from re-entering. If you overstay by more than 30 days but less than 90 days, it's a 2-year ban. If you overstay by more than 90 days, it's a 10-year ban. And just like in the United States, these bans are strictly enforced. The UK Border Force has access to comprehensive databases, and they will know about your previous overstay the moment you try to enter the country again. I've heard heartbreaking stories of people who overstayed by just a few weeks years ago, forgot about it, or didn't think it mattered, and then were refused entry when they tried to visit the UK for a vacation or business trip years later. Canada takes immigration violations extremely seriously as well. If you overstay or work without authorization in Canada, you can be found inadmissible to Canada for misrepresentation if you weren't truthful about your intentions, or for violating the conditions of your admission. Being found inadmissible can result in a ban from entering Canada for anywhere from 1 year to permanently, depending on the severity of the violation. What makes Canada's system particularly strict is that immigration officers have a lot of discretion in determining whether someone has misrepresented themselves. If they believe you entered Canada as a visitor but actually intended to stay and work illegally, that's grounds for a finding of misrepresentation, which carries a 5-year ban and makes you ineligible for most immigration programs during that time. Australia has a complex system of visa conditions, and violating any of these conditions can have serious consequences. Working more hours than your student visa allows, staying beyond your visa expiry date, or engaging in activities not permitted under your visa category all create problems for future visa applications. Australia uses a character test for visa applicants, and immigration violations are considered character issues. Even if you're not formally banned, having a violation on your record means you'll face enhanced scrutiny on all future applications, longer processing times, and potentially higher evidentiary requirements to prove you deserve a visa despite your past violation. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. You might have good reasons for considering overstaying or violating your visa conditions. Maybe your visa is about to expire and you have a job interview coming up. Maybe you're in a relationship with someone and you don't want to leave them. Maybe you've invested so much time and money into being in this country that leaving feels impossible. Maybe the situation in your home country is dangerous or economically desperate. I understand all of these situations, and I'm not judging anyone who faces these difficult choices. But I need you to understand that no matter how good your reasons are, the immigration system doesn't care. It's a cold, bureaucratic system that applies rules without considering individual circumstances in most cases. Here's what actually happens when you overstay, and this is the part that people don't think through carefully enough. In the short term, yes, you get to stay in the country. You can keep working if you're working under the table. You can maintain your relationships. You can avoid whatever situation you're trying to avoid in your home country. But every single day you stay beyond your authorized period, you're digging yourself into a deeper hole. If you're discovered, you'll be deported, and deportation is far worse than simply leaving voluntarily. A deportation order creates a much longer ban and is much harder to overcome. If you're not discovered immediately, you're living in constant fear and uncertainty, unable to travel, unable to access many services, unable to build a stable life because you're always one traffic stop or one employer audit away from being caught. And here's the cruel irony. By overstaying and trying to buy yourself more time, you're actually destroying the very future you're trying to preserve. Let's say you overstay in the United States for 2 years because you're trying to find a way to get legal status. During those 2 years, maybe you meet someone, fall in love, and get married to a U.S. citizen. That should be your path to a green card, right? Wrong. Because you overstayed for more than 1 year, you now have a 10-year bar. Your U.S. citizen spouse can petition for you, but you'll have to leave the United States to process your immigrant visa, and the moment you leave, the 10-year bar kicks in. You can apply for a waiver, but waivers require showing extreme hardship to your U.S. citizen spouse, and the bar for extreme hardship is very high. Many waiver applications are denied. So by overstaying, you've taken what could have been a straightforward path to legal status and turned it into a multi-year nightmare with no guarantee of success. The same principle applies in other countries. In Canada, if you overstay and then later qualify for express entry or get a job offer from a Canadian employer, your overstay will complicate or prevent your application. In the UK, if you violate your visa conditions and then want to apply for a skilled worker visa or a family visa, your violation will be a major negative factor. In Australia, working illegally on a tourist visa doesn't just affect your ability to get future tourist visas. It affects your ability to get any kind of Australian visa, including skilled migration visas. So, what should you do instead if you're in a situation where your visa is expiring and you don't have a clear path forward? First, consult with a licensed immigration attorney immediately. Don't wait until the week before your visa expires. Don't try to figure it out yourself based on internet forums and advice from friends. Immigration law is incredibly complex, and an experienced attorney can often identify options you didn't know existed. Yes, attorneys are expensive, but they're far less expensive than the cost of ruining your immigration future. Many attorneys offer free or low-cost initial consultations, and some work on payment plans. If you absolutely cannot afford an attorney, many countries have nonprofit organizations that provide free or low-cost immigration legal services to people who qualify. Second, if there's any legal way to extend your current status or change to a different status, pursue that option even if it's not ideal. Sometimes people reject certain options because they don't perfectly fit their plans, but having legal status is always better than being illegal. For example, maybe you're in the United States on a work visa and your job is ending. You might be able to change to a tourist visa to give yourself more time to find a new employer, or you might be able to enroll in a language program and change to a student visa. These options might not be what you ultimately want, but they keep you in legal status while you figure out your next steps. Third, if there's truly no legal way for you to stay and you've exhausted all options, leave before your status expires. I know this is painful and difficult, but it's the only decision that preserves your future options. When you leave voluntarily and on time, you can apply for new visas in the future without the burden of an overstay on your record. You can return as a tourist to visit. You can pursue other immigration pathways when circumstances change. If you overstay, you lose all of these options for years or even decades. Think of it this way: leaving on time is pressing pause on your plans. Overstaying is pressing delete. Fourth, keep detailed records of everything related to your immigration status. Keep copies of all your visas, entry and exit stamps, approval notices, applications, and correspondence with immigration authorities. Keep track of exactly how long you've been in the country and when your authorized stay expires. Set multiple reminders for important deadlines. This documentation protects you if there are ever questions about whether you complied with immigration rules, and it also helps if you need to apply for visas in the future because you'll have a clear record of your immigration history. Fifth, never lie on immigration applications or to immigration officers. When you apply for a visa or speak to an immigration officer, you'll be asked questions about your immigration history, your intentions, your background, and various other topics. Always tell the complete truth, even if you think the truth might hurt your application. Immigration authorities have access to extensive databases and sophisticated tools for detecting fraud. They share information internationally. They conduct interviews designed to catch inconsistencies. If they catch you in a lie, the consequences are severe and often permanent. Many people who could have overcome a past mistake with honesty find themselves permanently barred because they tried to cover it up. Let me share a real example that illustrates all of this. I know someone who came to the United States on a student visa, graduated, got work authorization through optional practical training, and then had that work authorization expire. He had a job offer from a company that said they would sponsor his H-1B visa, but the H-1B lottery wasn't for several months, and there was a gap between when his work authorization expired and when he could apply for the H-1B. Instead of leaving the United States and applying for the H-1B from abroad, or finding some other legal status to bridge the gap, he decided to just stay and work anyway. He figured it was only a few months, and he'd fix everything once the H-1B came through. The H-1B lottery came, he was selected, and his employer filed the petition. But when it came time to get the actual visa, immigration services discovered that he had worked without authorization during the gap period. Not only was his H-1B denied, but he was found to have violated his status, and he was given a bar from re-entering the United States. His entire career plan, his relationship with his girlfriend who lived in the U.S., and years of education and investment were destroyed by one decision to work for a few months without authorization. I want to be clear that I'm not trying to scare you unnecessarily or make immigration seem impossible. Millions of people successfully immigrate to countries around the world every year by following the rules and making smart decisions. My goal is to make sure you understand the stakes so you don't make a decision in a moment of stress or confusion that you'll regret for decades. Immigration is a long game. It requires patience, planning, and sometimes sacrifice. The people who succeed are the ones who play the long game, who make decisions based on their long-term goals rather than short-term convenience, and who get professional help when they need it. If you're currently in a country on a temporary visa and you're not sure what your options are, please take action today. Don't wait until the last minute. Don't assume everything will work out somehow. Don't convince yourself that a small violation won't matter. Look at your visa, check your expiration date, calculate how much time you have left, and start planning your next steps immediately. If you need to consult an attorney, do it now. If you need to apply for an extension or change of status, start gathering documents now. If you need to make plans to leave the country, start making those plans now. Time is your most valuable resource in immigration matters, and wasting it or running out of it leads to desperate decisions that ruin futures. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone you know who's navigating immigration issues. Subscribe to this channel for more honest, practical immigration advice that could save you from costly mistakes. Drop a comment below if you have questions or if you want me to cover specific immigration topics in future videos. Remember, the one decision that could save your future is the decision to always maintain legal status, to always play by the rules even when it's difficult, and to always think long-term rather than taking shortcuts that seem easier in the moment. Your future self will thank you for making the hard but right decision today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.